It's rather unfortunate that we are here at the INEC headquarters in Kaduna, where the INEC is supposed to supply us subpoenaed documents of INEC to the court on Monday. But unfortunately, after rigging us out in the 2023 governorship election in Kaduna, the INEC staff who are in charge of Kaduna North local government, who are sorting out these documents, were caught here and they took to their heels. They were caught here sorting out ballot papers, tearing fresh ballot papers that have not been used and adding them up into the ballot paper so that they'll cover up the gap of the rigging they've done. Look at all the way they've...
A thief is a thief. Whether he steals oranges or steals diamond, he is still a thief. The truth is, if you don't check the orange thief in no distant time, he will begin to steal diamonds. The problem with this country is that we have allowed a lot of nonsense to happen repeatedly unchecked. We call it the name of politics. Oh, elections have been rigged in this country. It's not the first time. Elections have been rigged since the 60s. Oh, 1979 election was rigged. 1993 election was rigged. 1999 election was rigged. That has been the stories we have been hearing daily from Nigerians who are educated and exposed, saying that elections have been rigged, so it's not a big deal. And that's why elections have been rigged continuously, and that has turned us to the kind of democracy that we run. If not, tell me what will be the difference of a governor who served for his people for over 8 years, right? Talking about Nasu El-Rufai, the herald himself, and then you were going to leave office. Your good works could not speak for you. Rather, you had to rig your way to bringing your successor to power. Of course, with about 730 votes that Ubasani secured in the election of to contest for to win the Kaduna State Guba elections, close defeating the PDP candidate with about 719, which was less than 12,000 votes. Now the court has subpoenaed INEC to go ahead and provide certified true copies of some electoral materials, and now INEC has now been caught 2 days before the subpoena date, that they are not manipulating the result already with them. You have declared somebody winner. You said it was a free and fair contest. Why are you doing this? Nobody is bringing this to you. So we understand the kind of game that INEC is playing. If we don't check INEC, this country democracy may be submerged under some irregular manipulative factors in no distant time, because INEC is doing everything they can on check. Nobody is talking to them. They are the only umpire that decide what happens to anybody. INEC can decide your destiny just the way they are. If you say the man won the election, okay, now bring document to the court. Let's check what is happening. Suddenly, you are seeing that they are not going to manipulate and going to count and going to rig. They are going to and then you say that Tinubu won the election. Ubasani is the governor. Let them go to court. Go to court. You say now they're in court. Now they say bring documents, bring copies, bring the things you use to declare the man winner. You are going to manipulate it. You are going to look at it. Look at the document. You are going to watch the video, and it's embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Very disheartening. And then you think, is this a country at all? Who is going to help this country? So you're a party and then. Okay, you think it's Labour Party, we are the one shouting, obedient, I don't want shouting. This is a PDP candidate, at least a party that has been in power for several years, that is not being dealt with. What is election? Election is a test of your popularity, your influence, and then your goals. If the people did not vote you, why are we allowing? That's why we cannot have good governance in this country. Because the people that were not voted for get to power, and they understood that it was their fathers, their godfathers, their former, their predecessors, and a couple of other factors that gave them power. If a man wasn't voted for by the people, he understands clearly that it was a certain powers that be a cabal that brought him to power. He will not serve the people. He will serve the cabal. Watch the video and share this video. This is exactly what we are going through in this country. Peter Obi is fighting his own in the presidential election tribunal. Many other state governors, so many other governorship candidates of different parties are fighting theirs and trying to say, let's explain what is happening. Look at what INEC is doing. Is this not embarrassing enough? Watch this video and share this video. And then I have attached another video to it, a video of why you need to put your eyes down on what's going to happen at the court. Tribunal has closed and open and closed hearing already. We are trusting a couple of things will happen shortly and very soon. Please watch the video and share this. We'll let it go around. We must keep our eyes open. So those of you in your state that are going to court to challenge certain processes, open your eyes and watch what is happening. See, there is wahala. There is wahala.
It's rather unfortunate that we are here at the INEC headquarters in Kaduna, where the INEC is supposed to supply us subpoenaed documents of INEC to the court on Monday. But unfortunately, after rigging us out in the 2023 governorship election in Kaduna, the INEC staff who are in charge of Kaduna North local government, who are sorting out these documents, were caught there, and they took to their heels. They were caught there sorting out ballot papers, tearing fresh ballot papers that have not been used, and adding them up into the ballot paper so that they'll cover up the gap of the rigging they've done. Look at all the way they've written. If our people were not limited to this local government, and we believe they must have been doing this. Today is Saturday. We just came to find out what is happening, and unfortunately, this is what we discovered. Everywhere they have stopped these ballot papers and what have you. This cannot stand, and we'll take whatever measure we need to fight for justice for the people of Kaduna State. We will not allow this thing to go like that. We must continue to put our eyes, and INEC must continue to prove how APC won this election. Look at how they have all been listed the ballot papers they saw, and they are using it in favor of APC just in order to cover this. If INEC know that they cannot hold election for Nigerians, they should surrender. Yes, and everywhere.
For those of you thinking that you cannot unseat a sitting president at the tribunal, think again or get ready to be shocked. The truth is, in the face of overwhelming evidence, there's really nothing the judges can do. It is only when matters that are before the court are not proved beyond reasonable doubt, then the case is left to the prerogative of the judges. That is when you can assume that kind of assumption that you cannot unseat a sitting president at the tribunal. Look, before now, there has never really been a contest at the tribunal. There has never really been. In fact, the closest you have had to this is Tinubu's own cases, where, according to what Osinbajo said, he went to UK to go and bring forensic auditors to go through the polling papers, the ballot papers, and then because of that, he was able to retrieve some mandates on behalf of the likes of them, the then governor of Edo State and the likes, Oshiomhole. Aside from that, there has never really been a contest at the tribunal. Not anything close to what we are seeing now with the Peter Obi defense, with the Peter Obi's petition. And that's the truth. If any candidate is able to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt, the hands of the justices will be tied. It will not matter what monies are paid to them. They cannot give a wrong judgment. The matter on ground right now, the matter at the Presidential Elections Petitions Court or the tribunal, whichever you choose to call it, is such that Peter Obi has several prayers. And from the activities, the events that we see, it is becoming more and more difficult, if not impossible, for INEC, for Tinubu, for APC, and even for Shetima to put up reasonable defense. We saw what happened with INEC's defense. First, all their witnesses refused to show up. At the end of the day, one witness managed to show up, a deputy director at INEC, and the defense he put up, you can't really call that a defense. In fact, it was more like corroborating Peter Obi's case. It was more of corroborating Peter Obi's defense. But let's look at it from this way. There are certain factors that are within the control or within the interpretation of the justices, even though you and I know that these factors well favor Peter Obi. But some of these factors are still within the prerogative of the justices based on the constitutional role of the justices. Such factors as 25% of the FCT. You and I know, and majority of Nigerians know, that 25% of the FCT is a constitutional requirement based on two previous judgments of the Supreme Court on the matter, cases that were presented by Buhari. Based on those two, we know that 25% of the FCT is the requirement. But then again, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land, and the Supreme Court is vested with the responsibility of interpreting the law. And if the Supreme Court has interpreted that to be a condition before, it is still well within the prerogative of the Supreme Court to interpret it however they want to. So that 25% case is one of the grounds that, in my opinion, falls on the prerogative of the judges, regardless of what you and I think. The second ground, which is the disqualification of Tinubu, a previous antecedent that we have seen is that the Supreme Court has ruled that in the case of PDP, that PDP or Atiku is not a member of the APC, so he cannot meddle in its affairs, thereby ruling that PDP did not have local stand-by, and then throughout the case. So based on that as an antecedent, we can also just look at it. It's not final, but 50-50%, we can say that it is within the prerogative of the justices or the judges to say or determine that case otherwise. And it goes on for several other conditions. But you see the condition that is not dependent on the prerogative of the justices. You see those Form EC 8As. It does not depend on the prerogative of the judges. The judges, upon seeing the Forms EC 8As, by the time all the Form EC 8As are collated, from what we have seen in Lagos and all the extra votes for APC removed, in Plateau and all the extra votes for APC removed, in Rivers and all the extra votes for APC removed, just those 3 states alone, the Form EC 8A figures already shoots Peter Obi ahead. So once the Form EC 8A are tabulated, there is nothing the judges or the presiding justices can do. You cannot dispute the evidence of the Form EC 8As. And that is why you see the likes of even them Festus Okoye coming out to say that, the political parties had their accredited agents. According to the Electoral Act 2022, it empowers the political party to have the originals of the polling unit result, which is the Form EC 8A. And mind you, the Form EC 8A in the hand of the polling or the political party agent is an original copy. And aside from that original copy, which is made original by the Electoral Act, there is also the original copy of the police. So those are 2 original copies that each political party is at liberty to fall back on. So when you fall back on all of these, and then you now add on top of that the fact that you had overvotings, particularly in many of the northern states where it is reported that even the beavers were not even used. By the time you add that, you now come to the conclusion very easily that Peter Obi is in the lead. And when you have this kind of indisputable evidence, there is nothing the justices can do. And that is the truth of the matter. Absolutely nothing the justices can do. And that is why I say to all those that are doubtful that, you cannot unseat a sitting president at the tribunal, to think again. They should get ready for an earthquake judgment, because there are certain parts of elections that cannot be disputed, and that those facts depend on the polling unit. See, the polling unit is the center of the universe as far as election is concerned in Nigeria today. And as far as the polling unit results are concerned, you and I know who is in the lead. The results for Lagos, the results for Plateau, the results for Rivers alone. If you add Ekiti on top of that, you add Adamawa and you add Taraba, Magana Yakari, the case is finished. We will witness, by the grace of God, an earthquake judgment that will change the course of things forever in Nigeria, and the people's mandate will be restored. Let us put our eyes on the judiciary. These people know that the power actually is not 100% within the hands of judges. That is why they are panicking right now. If you add on top of that the report of the European Union election monitoring group that was just presented, if you add on top of that, it makes the case easier for the judges to determine, because the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is overwhelming. So I am of good cheer that this mandate will be reclaimed. I am. They expected, I'm talking about the APC now, that by now Nigerians will be quiet. Once Tinubu is sworn in, then that is it, game over. Hello, newsflash. We're just getting started. As you can see, after the inauguration of Tinubu, more and more evidence have been coming out. More and more evidence have been coming out. And the way they are coming out, there's nothing the power of incumbency can do for Tinubu. When the judgment comes, he will not have a choice but to leave office and hand over that office to the rightful person, so that Nigerians can be safe. We are suffering already under this kind of leadership. You need to see what even popular celebrities are saying. There's a neighbor of mine who is doing well. I wouldn't say for somebody to have a Mercedes GL 550, you know the person is doing well. In fact, I just got to understand yesterday that the GL 550 actually has a fuel tank of 170 liters. If you multiply that by 540, that's like 90,000 naira to fill. And if you also know how the GL 550 Mercedes works, they are gas guzzlers. So within 4 or 5 days, that full tank can be gone if you are a very heavy user. So for you to have that kind of person who has that kind of car to be complaining, it means that the thing is even touching even the so-called well-to-do. And if it is touching the well-to-do, you can imagine what it's doing to the downtrodden. We need to change this. I saw a report the other time of a celebrity, a Yoruba Nollywood actress, complaining that she's tired. She said she's tired. In fact, she said, God knows I'm tired. That's actress Biola Bayo cries out over hiking price of petrol. I mean, who wouldn't be tired? Who wouldn't be? Only the people who are using government money to fuel convoys of over 124 SUVs. Only those people will not be tired. The remainder of Nigerians are tired. They are tired. And I can tell you, even the judges, they are tired. So those of you thinking you can hide behind, power of incumbency, you will be disappointed. Because when evidence is overwhelming, such as we have now, there's little the judges can do. And because the matter even affects the judges or the justices, they will do the right thing. By the grace of God, they will do the right thing, because our eyes are on the judiciary right now to do the right thing and save Nigeria's democracy. It's unfortunate that it is the people who threaten Nigeria's democracy that are coming out to say that EU's election report is threatening Nigeria's democracy, where they are the ones that started the threat. They are the ones who went and started using thugs to threaten innocent voters, even stabbing them. They are the ones that went on national TV, caught on camera, saying that people should snatch election results, they should snatch power, they should run with it. They're the ones that were caught threatening democracy, and they are the ones coming to say, oh, EU's report is threatening democracy, because they are seeing the handwriting on the wall. The defense of INEC was weak. I am suspecting that when the APC's defense starts tomorrow, it will even be weaker, but because there's nothing to defend. When that of APC comes, it will be even the weakest. And at the end of the day, justice will be done and Nigerians will get their mandate back by the grace of God.